Andre Cacciaturian on Radio Row alongside Cynthia Frelund, analytics expert for NFL Network. Cynthia, how's Houston treating you so far?
Houston's great.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's kind of like an unexpected gem, right? I didn't expect it to be like everything is so laid out. So I mean, I guess it's the Super Bowl, so they had a little time to prep, but you get a chance to see like all of their finest. They brought it out.
Yeah.
Restaurants, everything. It's great.
For someone who went to Boston College and I went to Boston University, you can really see, the grid system here is much more reliable than the one in Boston. Yeah, exactly.
The scribble that is the Boston Ravens.
Right. So Super Bowl 51 that's why we're here in Houston, obviously. So Falcons, Patriots, what defining stat are you looking at that, most people are overlooking because it's like a analytics stat that kind of could determine the game?
So a few things that I'm looking at. When I look at pace of play, the Falcons play at a pretty slow pace, so they're very efficient with that, though. So, for example, in the past 5 or so games, they're scoring more than 3 points per drive, but only 10 drives on offense per game. They're taking a long time, they're eating up the clock, but they're not necessarily doing it with big plays, they're doing it with like small distributed passes. And then if you look at kind of the fact that both teams have the fewest turnovers in the NFL, that could be like a huge difference maker, right? So if the Atlanta Falcons' pace gets slowed up, a turnover happens and they kind of give away one more turnover, that could be a very hard thing considering they haven't been playing with this quick pace, digging out of a hole type of mentality.
It's interesting because the Patriots, they're known for their big play attack. So, but if you score quickly, you give the other team a lot of possession. So you see maybe New England kind of slowing it down, you don't want to get into a track meet with Atlanta, do they?
No, I think it's more like, so when I look at the vulnerabilities of the Falcons defense, and I'm sure there's a coach that wears hoodies a lot that knows this way better than all of us combined, in his sleep with his pinky. But one of the things that stands out to me is the red zone touchdown percentage of the Falcons. It was the worst in the entire NFL in the regular season. About 73% of the time when a team got into the red zone, so only 20 yards, doesn't necessarily need to be a big play, but they scored a touchdown. In the past few games, that number's gone down to like 60, 55%, which is a pretty big improvement. So I'm thinking there's going to be kind of, as opposed to maybe I think you're going to be trying to figure out okay, as soon as we get to the red zone, we're just attacking.
Right.
I think that one's more that's a little bit more interesting.
Well, speaking of the Patriots defense, I've been saying all season long, people always call them the number 1 ranked defense, but I look at the second half and all the quarterbacks they face, guys like Bryce Petty, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Trevor Siemian, Colin Kaepernick.
They haven't faced a top 10 quarterback in terms of passer rating until Matt Ryan. Ben Roethlisberger was 11.
Right. So, knowing that, would you say that number 1 ranked Patriots defense stat is a little bit, overplayed, I guess?
No. Part of the reason that I like their defense so much is not necessarily obviously they led the league in not allowing any points, or fewest points per game allowed in the NFL, so top scoring defense. But when I talk about red zone touchdown percentage, in the past 5 games, only 25%. So they're not 75% of the time, they're not allowing people who get in the red zone to score a touchdown. That's huge, especially when the Falcons have actually punted less than any other team in the league.
Yeah, one other stat I look at with the Patriots is the yards after catch. They tackle really well, and the Falcons, on the other hand, 32nd in yards after catch this year. So
you have to the interesting thing here is the Patriots actually, if you look at who their leading tacklers are, most teams it's like linebacker, safety, that kind of thing at the top 3. Patriots, it's cornerback, safety, meaning teams are throwing a lot on them, and then their cornerbacks and safeties and their defensive backs are making those tackles and not allowing it, but it's not like a slower running game, which is kind of what the Falcons do. The Falcons have a more balanced attack.
Right.
So you're going to need those linebackers to make those tackles in this game, probably, right? Because they'll use Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman a little bit more than some of the other opponents have.
Interesting. So you have a 3-point spread here, 3.5 point spread, depending where you're looking at. What do you think is going to happen?
I think that it's going to be a close game. I think that people in our university alumni region are going to be very happy people.
Right, yes.
Tom gets 5 rings, but I think it's going to be a really fun game for fans because I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a 1-point Patriots win.
So you think the Falcons cover?
I don't know what cover means because I work for the NFL.
Okay, I understand. Gotcha.
But my mom might think that.
All right, cool. Thank you very much, Cynthia. I really
Thank
appreciate you coming
nice
on.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it was good talking some numbers with you.
Mm-hmm.